Sure. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here today. I now call to order the January 14th school board meeting for Krum ISD to order. A quorum of members is present. We will begin. The board will now meet in closed session in accordance to Texas Government Code Section 551. The time is 6 o'clock.
Thank you, Michael.
Hey, brother.
My eyes getting heavy.
Love you. Yep, this is it.
Okay. What time is it?
You got notes over?
I do. I think I do. 6:33. Okay, the time is 6:33 and the Board of Trustees of Krum ISD reconvenes in open meeting. If everyone will stand for our invocation.
Y'all please stand and pray with me. Dear Holy Father, I just want to thank you for allowing us to gather here today and make decisions for the students and the families of Krum ISD. We ask for your guidance and directions as we process any event put in front of us and ask that we make the best decision in your planning for our community. As always, please bless and protect those men and women that serve and protect us. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Okay, if you'll keep standing, I think Ms. Stupka, you have our pledge leaders.
Come on up here. Come on up here. I got a big group. Sorry. That's really loud. Kind of unnecessary. All right, everybody turn and face this way. Turn around, face that way. There we go. UIL coaches who are being shy, come on in. Last year at Hansel was, I know some of them are taller than us. It's hard to accept. I'll introduce them really quickly, and then we'll do the pledge. We had 38 kids do UIL last year because it was our first year. This year we grew to 55. We had 9 amazing coaches, and we are incredibly proud and honored to have them here with us tonight. So, y'all ready to do the pledge? Yeah, we can. Can they introduce ourselves real quick?
100%.
All right. Well, I'll point at you, and you can introduce yourself and say your name, your grade, and what event you did. Okay, you ready?
Nehemiah, 5th grade, listening and math.
Sawyer, 5th grade, math and oral reading.
Blake, 5th grade, oral reading and listening.
Addison, 3rd grade, storytelling and ready writing.
Faith, 3rd grade, musical memory and spelling.
Sutton, 2nd grade, storytelling.
Logan, 3rd grade, 4th grade, chess. Witten, 3rd grade, 4th grade, chess team. Bodie, 3rd grade, storytelling.
Luke, 2nd grade, storytelling.
Ava, 4th grade, oral reading.
Blakely, 4th grade, music memory and art smart.
Harper, 4th grade, and ready writing.
Layla, 3rd grade, storytelling.
Grace, 5th grade, art smart.
William, 5th grade, chess.
Braden, 5th grade, chess and math.
Thank y'all for having us. Y'all ready to do the pledge? Okay, put your hand over there.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible. You guys that did chess, was it harder than you thought? No? I always thought it's not what you expected. It's not. It's totally different. It blows me away sometimes. It's such an amazing thing. Did you want to visit?
Yeah, no, I just asked Dr. Cochran for a minute to address these awesome kids. So I had the privilege of being a chaperone at the UIL competition. Sanger, Bridgeport, and Gainesville were there. So I really just wanted all the adults in the room to understand and know how awesome these kids were at the event. Y'all would have been so proud of them. They were polite, they had their inside voices, they weren't yelling, they weren't going crazy. By far, they were the best behaved group. Gainesville, we were in a room with Gainesville, they were going nuts the whole time. I walked by Sanger in Bridgeport, I think there were paper airplanes, a kid rolling all over the floor. It was insane, and these kids did it with class, right? They represented this community beyond anything y'all would have imagined. So really proud of you guys. Great job to all the coaches, all the teachers, the time you put in. It's amazing. It's a great group. So great job, guys.
Good job, guys. Okay, we have our special recognition. Ms. Stuka, you are up for Hansel Elementary.
So honored tonight to introduce one of our teachers, one of our UIL coaches. She can come back and join me up here. I am so honored to share Ms. Yanez with you tonight. Ms. Yanez is a fourth grade teacher at Hansel. She's in her second year of fourth grade. She is actually in her 12th year with Krum and her 26th year in education. If you can't tell, they love her. We all love her. She spent, 21 year in kindergarten? 22 years in kindergarten, and it took me a lot to convince her to get out of kindergarten, where she found a whole new world. She did first grade for 2 years and has been in fourth grade for 2 years. She's a UIL coach, an EHS sponsor, staff mentor. She's a leader on campus. But honestly, academically, when I go in there, it is one of the strongest places, and I am so proud of her every time. So we are so honored to have her at Hansel. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Bowles, you have our paraprofessional of the month.
Our paraprofessional could not be here this evening, but I just wanted to let you know that we selected Andrea Baring. She is one of our special ed paras who does a fantastic job in the classroom. I will certainly take her certificate and present that to her. We have already honored her at our campus. Just sorry that you couldn't see her today and hear all the great things about her, but she's a fantastic employee. Couldn't be prouder of her.
Now, Ms. Boone has some student recognition. Students.
I pinned myself in the corner. Okay, I have two amazing students of the month that I'm excited to share with you tonight, and the first one is Brant Burns. Brant, come on up here. Are you ready? I'm going to tell them all about you. Okay, that's for you. Okay, so that I stay on track. One of my favorite things to do is talk about Brant. He is such a light in our school. He's an outstanding young man who represents everything that we hope to develop in our students at Krum Middle School. Brant is an 8th grader, and leadership for him is not about being in the spotlight. It's about how he treats people every single day. He is kind to everyone he encounters, respectful to both peers and adults, and consistently sets an example for all. Academically, Brant works hard, earns excellent grades, and challenges himself by taking advanced and high school credit classes. He approaches his learning with focus, determination, and a strong work ethic that truly stands out. Beyond the classroom, Brant is a key player on our outstanding 8th grade basketball team. His commitment, teamwork, and sportsmanship reflect the same leadership qualities we see in his academics and daily interactions. He lifts up those around him and understands that success is best when it's shared. What makes Brant truly special, though, is his character. Every person who meets him, students, teachers, coaches, staff, everybody, they recognize his sincerity, his humble spirit, and his genuine care for others. He is the kind of student who leaves a positive impression wherever he goes and makes our campus better because he's in it.
If you get a chance, compliment his mustache and his goatee. He's been working hard on that. We talk about it all the time. It's coming in quite well.
Yeah, it really is. All right, our next amazing student for KMS is Madison Copley. Madison, come up here. This is for you, and now I get to brag on you. So Madison is another ray of sunshine that is fun to brag about, easy to brag about. Maddie is an 8th grader with a kind heart and a bubbly personality. She brightens every room when she walks in. You see that smile. Her positive spirit is contagious, and she has a natural ability to lift others up through her encouragement, compassion, and genuine care for those around her. Academically, Maddie is exceptional. She demonstrates an excellent work ethic and consistently earns high grades in her advanced and high school credit classes. She is determined, focused, and willing to put in the effort it takes to succeed, qualities that will continue to serve her far beyond Krum Middle School. Maddie is also a true leader among her peers. She leads by supporting others, offering help, and encouraging everyone to do their best. In addition to her academic leadership, Maddie is a dedicated member of our basketball program, where she demonstrates teamwork, discipline, and perseverance. On and off the court, she encourages her teammates and classmates with such heart and integrity. What truly sets Maddie apart is the fire she has inside of her. Her drive, determination, and confidence leave me certain that she will accomplish whatever she sets her sights on.
Thank you, Ms. Boone. Mr. Bonsu will now introduce the High School Teacher of the Month.
I've got two for the Teacher of the Month and then a Student of the Month as well. But we're going to do the Teacher of the Month. So I'm going to read because I can get off script when I get a mic. So this teacher who was asked to be here and is the only Krum High School teacher right here now. So her colleagues say this about her. She's compassionate, courageous, honest, humble, inspiring, intelligent, kind, resilient, wise, and honestly, there are 93 words that describe her. And of course, you want to go home, so I won't get to all of them, reading them slowly. But I'll read two things that were said. Mrs. Wallace is always willing to help with a smile on her face. She's a great district resource and very knowledgeable. She knows all things Krum, what she does. She started as an elementary student, kindergarten, I believe. Pre-K? Okay, pre-K, and is now teaching for us. Mrs. Wallace has always has a smile on her face, teaches child development in a way to make an impact, especially with what she's gone through. She never stops smiling and gives her all every single day. And I'm going to say, so I'm going off script just a little bit, Mrs. Wallace is awesome. We have great teachers at Krum High School, and they're going to hear me say this because I tell each one of them this, but Mrs. Wallace is the best of them all. When it gets to just compassion, her heart. She's selfless. She goes out of the way to make sure that you do what you do. Matter of fact, when we got to hire her, because she's coming back to Krum High School, she continued to serve the district in her POI role. And before Miss Coulter got here, and so we're just so blessed to have her, and Krum is better because of her. Let's give it up for Ms. Wallace. Take a picture. All right, and then our student, we have two of them, but one of them is not here right now. Theirs is long too. Now, would you come over here, Joshua, please? And I'm going to print this off for you because this is a lot. So, you see them? I'm going to read like just three of them. Okay? Yeah. So for Mrs. Brown, Joshua is an excellent student who stands out among his peers. He's a self-starter and driven in his academic and career goals. I can always count on Joshua to come to class prepared as well as actively contribute to our class discussion. Most importantly, Josh is kind-hearted and always respectful to staff and other students. He is truly exceptional and well-rounded young man. Coach Tabor says Josh is a letterman in cross-country and boys basketball and has been a valuable part of both teams. Mrs. Flowers, Josh is a driven and a kind young man. He balances his role as a key player on the school basketball team with consistently high academic achievement, earning top marks across his classes. He has strong work ethic, leadership on and off the court, and his willingness to support classmates, qualities that make him an outstanding member of the school community. And honestly, they are all saying the same thing. If you had him, if he was in your classroom, you know that. It hadn't changed. He is a tremendous young man at Krum High School. And honestly, I always say this every time I get to come up here. We have the best kids in the state, in the country. But this is the hard thing when we get to pick just one boy, one girl. And so the teachers get to do it, and then we narrow it down. And it still is hard because there's like four of them that tie. So appreciate you for doing everything you do. We're proud to have you at Krum High School.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bonsu. I just want to also say, like, the parents, mom, I see mom recording over there. I don't know how y'all record and not cry. Like, I am crying. Those are such wonderful kids, so thank y'all for sharing your kids with us. It's great. School board appreciation.
For this next piece, I'll try not to cry. You know, when we talk about the student leaders, the UIL groups, have a leadership group, our athletics, our character traits throughout the district, one of the things we try to incorporate is the attitude of servant leadership and these kids being part of something bigger than themselves. And this is a special month because we recognize the school board, the elected officials. And yes, I work for them, so it's kind of weird to sit up here and say, yay, I love my bosses. But from a community perspective, they signed up to serve their community. They don't get paid. People don't stop them and just go, thank you. Believe it or not, they stop and it's over and over, and sometimes it's not always positive. But they've committed to something bigger than themselves. The model that they're showing the kids and the things that they're giving back to this community to make it a better place for your children, it's something that I would encourage everybody. If you're not serving at a level for this community, our community is great because of the people that run to the front of the line, that do it for free, do it for a passion for something bigger than themselves. So these 7 people, not everybody's here tonight, they commit 3 years at a time. And are elected to serve you guys to make this place better for your kids. So I appreciate you guys. It is School Board Appreciation Month. If we can give them a round of applause for their service.
With that is all of our special recognitions. So if you are ready for dinner, you're ready to go, please feel free to head out, or you can stick around for some other presentations that we'll have tonight. But thank you all so much for being here and letting us recognize your students and teachers of the month. Thank you for all that you do.
I'm number 7. Yeah, nobody signed up, but you'll just announce that next, because I asked her ahead of time.
We've only had like 3 people sign up since I've been on the board.
It's a good thing.
Yeah. Oh, it's not?
Oh my goodness. Okay, we have no one who has signed up for open forum, so we'll move into our special reports. First, we have our financial report.
I thought he was going to trip over the chair to get away from you guys.
Okay, first of all, just to go over some updates. It is January, y'all know that, but that means it's budget season. So we are already starting the 26-27 budget planning process. One of our,
Nobody's signed up.
It's on. It's on now.
Stall tactic.
This better be good.
This will just give us more time to look at the numbers before you present.
If only we had architects that could design a sound system.
Yeah.
We can just roll. We really got to roll.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would, yeah.
Just talk loud.
Melinda, we're just going to go.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna go. All right, so, one of the things that we're gonna do new this year is called an EPP plan, and that's an expenditure, program, or expenditure projection plan, and basically what that is gonna be doing is we're gonna be working with the operations and maintenance departments, technology, we'll have personnel, all those different departments, and we're gonna be doing a 10-year forecast. So we make a joke about, like, some of us possibly be here in 10 years, but we're just gonna try to make everybody think like we're gonna be here for 10 years. And so we're gonna be forecasting. So we will, get all those plans together. We'll be looking at big ticket items, just to give you some examples. For extracurricular, we're gonna look at, we have band uniforms, we have band instruments, we would have equipment, we would have theater. So those are some things. Athletics, we would look at uniform schedules, we would look at weight equipment, turf, returfing. When it got into facilities, obviously we would be looking at additions and renovations. So this is really gonna help on the budget side because, we can't do everything in year one. We gotta spread those things out because we've got transportation, personnel, and all those different things. So we are gonna do that on January 23rd. And so it'll be on one spreadsheet when all that plan comes together, and if anybody leaves, it's not going to be dropped because it's going to be in one master plan. So I'm really excited about that. I think it's going to really help us out planning-wise. So just to go over our blue sheets, so it starts with the blue and green sheets with the general fund revenue for ending December 31st. I just want to really focus on our local revenue. If you can look at just local revenue, at this point, we have collected $5.7 million by the end of December. But actually, as of today, we've collected $7.8 million in taxes. So, it's going to be all month
continuing to collect into February. So February meeting, I'll be able to update you, because at that point, I feel like we'll have about 85 to 88% of that money collected. So one of the things that was a little bit different, so I just wanted to point out, is you can see that that gray line is lower than last year, and last year was lower than the year before, and there's some reasons why behind that. If you remember, Denton ISD had a TRE, and so when they have those TREs, because the year before Louisville had a TRE, they hold off on sending out those tax statements. And so because of that, it lags a little bit, and so you can just see that in the data coming through, that money. So what I expect to happen this month, we'll collect more than what we normally would collect, that we'd be collecting in December. So that's just something I wanted to point out. If you go to the expenditure side, you know, at this point in the year, I'm looking at, are we at 50% or below? And we are. I've been really watching the salaries and benefits, because as you recall, you know, we've had to up those because of our teacher retention allotment that the state passed. So we are still below that 50% in our spending. And so I'm glad about that. And I don't really see anything that is standing out to me that I'd be concerned about at this time.
What was the capital outlays?
Let's see. What?
We didn't have any last year. We had 16,000. Or did I jump ahead?
I think we had 522,000 last year, didn't
Are
we?
you on the general or are you on the debt?
I'm sorry, I'm on food services.
Oh, okay.
I was like, sorry. I'll wait till you get there.
Okay. But, okay, so on, if you go to that food service, that was some equipment we ordered for the cafeterias, because we needed to spend down some fund balance. So we ordered some, I think it was some serving line equipment and some different equipment, and that's come in, so that's been expensed.
Wasn't it a refrigerator or freezer or something? I thought.
Yeah,
I
we had
remember.
several.
There's
little-
several items. That's one of the only
Yeah.
accounts that we can't exceed a fund balance limit. The auditor tell us whether you have to spend X down. So some of those big ticket items come out, and you'll see those throughout the year.
Okay, and then just wanted to point out on the debt service side, if you go to that on revenues, because right now, you know, obviously that money is going to be going up on our local side. But I did want to point out on state revenue, it has gone up. We received $1.9 million. What that had to do with is it's called an EDA. It's an existing debt allotment. And so the year before we got like about $828,000. Well, it's more than doubled, so we've got 1.9. That's going to continue to increase. That has to do with money that's going to come back from state that's allocated to the district for assistance with eligible debt. And so the more debt we have, obviously the more money that we're going to get. So we did get that payment from TEA for $1.9 million.
So, Misty, can we use that for capital projects, or does it have to go towards debt service?
It's going to have to go toward debt service. So
Okay.
it would be nice if we could, but no, it has to go towards debt service. And then the last thing is our bond payments. They're going to be due in February, so that's going to be going out the second week in February when our next board meeting. So that's all I have on the monthly board report, unless you have any questions.
Does anyone have any questions for Misty?
So the reduction in the taxes is due to the homestead exemption discussion, correct?
No. It's really due to statements. We're going to keep getting money in. We're just it's lagging a little bit because statements went out a little bit later than they normally do.
Because of the
Yeah,
TRE?
it's the collection timeline, and Denton
Yeah.
sends it to us. So, there's been years where it all comes at the end, and there's been years where it comes front loaded.
Thank you, Misty.
And then, did you want me to go ahead and do the quarterly investment?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll quickly do that. Quarterly investment report, that started from the end of September 30th till to the end of December 31st. You can see that we've collected on market value $168 million That's what we're showing. Interest earnings, we did $1.6 million. And so you can see that not only are our First United Bank accounts in there, but so are our bond accounts. So those are separated out, but total it's 1.6 million for interest earnings. Transfer in, so deposits in, we had $13 million. Transfers out, we had $15.2 million. So we're ending with $167 million. And then, of course, on the average rate of returns, we have it 3.25 on our First United accounts and 3.82% on our bond accounts.
Thank you, Misty. Sorry. Yes. Campus status reports.
Data reports. Who's up first?
Oh, she's coming.
Oh, all right.
What would they be?
Good evening, everybody. Microphone. Okay. Love the microphone. Tonight's board report for our data reports are coming to you from the beginning and the middle of the year. So we want to give you an update on our growth measures that we've tracked from our beginning of year assessments to our mid-year interims. We'll do the next interim assessments in the last week of February, so we'll have more to report to you at that time. But let me give you just a little overview of what we were giving for this beginning of the year TIA assessment. We used the 2025 STAR test for that grade level. So if that gives you a little bit of idea what they're being assessed on at that point. So we were just getting a ballpark at the beginning of the year. Where are our kids at? So third grade comes in. They've never taken a STAR test or an assessment to that extent. And so you're going to see them looking at an end of year third grade test. It just gives us a ballpark of where to begin. But then when we take our interim assessment, again, it's a STAR-like assessment, but it gives us a better idea of what we've taught so far and where they are. Now, let me give you this. They are not only tested on what's taught so far. It is an assessment that looks at the entire curriculum. So again, you've taught half of the year, but you can see the growth that we had in third grade reading going from 34% to 57% in approaches, and then our masters went up from meets went from 11 to 46%, and then of course masters from 0 to 35%. I wanted to make note that our federal or our accountability measure at the meets and masters, the target is 52%. We're very close already at that level. So I was very pleased to see that. In fourth grade reading, we went from 66% down to 56%, but our meets and masters certainly went up from 11 to 37 and 2 up to 19%. So we certainly want to see more students in the approaches level, but I was very pleased with that growth in our masters and meets and masters level. Fifth grade reading started out at 77% and has gone up to 80%. We went from 41% in the meets category to 68%, from 9% to 45%. And I wanted to draw your attention again to that meets category. The accountability target, again, is 52%, and so mid-year we were already exceeding that. So I was very pleased with that percentage in fifth grade. In third grade math, we've gone from 9% up to 71%. That's very good. I was very excited to see that. And then, of course, from the meets category, 0 to 63 and 0 to 54. In math, our accountability target is 54% in the meets category. So we're exceeding that point already. In our fourth grade math scores, from a 32 up to 74% passing or at the approaches level, 7% up to 49, and 2% up to 37. And then in our fifth grade math, from 48% at the beginning of the year to 74, 16% to 70%. We're already exceeding that percentage target, and then 54% at the master's level in math. For science, we've gone from a 30% up to 44, and then meets and masters, we've gone from 0 to 10, and still 0 to 0 in the master's level. Science is a little different because their standards don't spiral throughout the year. They're different separate units being taught. So you've this midterm interim is getting half of the curriculum that's been taught so far. But we'll have more data to share then after our next interim. Do you guys have any questions that I can answer?
That's exciting.
We were very pleased.
Yes.
Very
What's
pleased.
the minimum for science?
The minimum on which category?
So you were saying like 52% for math. What would be the
50
minimum?
59.
59.
Mhm,
Wow.
mhm.
So when I'm looking at these numbers, 44% of the student body in fifth grade is approaching.
Yes.
Is it 10% of the student body or 10% of the 44?
10% of the student body.
Okay.
It is included in the 44.
Okay.
But it is.
But then, okay.
Yes.
That makes sense. Yep.
Mhm.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Ms. Bowles.
Now that we stand by the microphone and the computer. Yeah. Makes sense. Okay, here's ours. So this is our third grade reading interim. So like she said, the beginning of your assessment is an end of year star. When you're looking at the interim results, for interims, what we get is a prediction to. So this is 69% of my third graders are predicted to approach. It puts everything in, plugs it into a category. They all get the same first 12 questions, and then they move on from there to different levels of the test, and it ranks them where they think they will land. To me, all the interim scores are like a challenge. Oh, you think that's what it's gonna be? I'm gonna make that higher. Like, you know, so that's kind of a fun thing, the way in my head it works. So in third grade, for reading, we started at 37% scoring approaches. We're now at 69. I'm really proud of these meets and masters predictions right now because we're already at 55 and 47 midway through the year, and we'll just work to see those grow. These are higher than where we were last year on this same interim with our third graders, so I'm seeing improvement within third grade. 25 of my third graders met their personal reading goals too, so that's quite a big chunk of my kids for reading. Fourth grade reading, we started at 45% approaches, 17% meets, and 6% masters on an end of year test. We're currently at 54, 49, and 31. This cohort overall struggles a little bit more, so these fourth grade teachers are finding it a challenge. It's fun for them though. They're very strong teachers. I expect it to go up even more. What I was looking at the wrong notes of, last year our approaches number for fourth grade was 86% at the end of the year, so I do expect that to go up quite a bit. On their third grade interim, their scores were very similar to this, so I, like I said, expect it to keep going up. Fifth grade reading, we started up pretty high on our beginning of year assessment, which tells me that my fourth grade teachers were working really hard last year. Like I said, 86% of them passed. So at the beginning of the year, we were at 62, 43, and 19. It hasn't moved a whole lot in the approaches category, but meets is almost at the same spot that approaches is, which says a lot for how solid their skills are. Masters, again, above 50% at 53% predicted to master. That would be amazing to get that a little bit higher, but already that's a good number of kids at masters. 24 of them met their personal goals. Okay, so for third grade math, at the beginning of year, we were at 10% getting approaches. Just a little feedback from when I look at this, that makes me want to look into second grade a little bit more. You know, I'd like that number to be a little bit higher. I noticed it was lower than some of the other places. Second grade is one of those grades where we can squeeze in some more online testing or practice some test taking strategies. So as an administrator, I see that and want to look at that. But look at the growth here for third grade math. They're up to 57% approaches, 45 for meets, and 23 for masters. Last year, again, they improved from last year's third graders. These scores are higher than where they were at this point last year. All right, for fourth grade math, another huge growth area. 19% went up to 58, went from 5 to 41, and then 2 to 38. Again, the meets and the masters being so very similar shows me that they're really solid on those skills that they do know. 5th grade math. This one is another big growth, a big win for Dr. Keener. I saw lots of improvement from last year at this time. On the 5th grade first interim, our meets number was at 26 where that 51 is, and 9 where the 38 is. So as a teacher, she's made a lot of growth, worked on some things, and seen growth between cohorts too. But proud of her, and those numbers look like they're on the right track to me. 25% or 25 of my 5th grade students met their personal goals in math. And then for science, this does look a little bit different because it's a different type of benchmark. This is not a prediction, this is who scored that. So 41% of them scored approaches on that test, which almost doubled the beginning of year. And like Tricia said, science is not something that spirals. You're learning new content all the time. And actually the test that they took is TEKS from before, because the TEKS changed before, or changed last year. So we're looking at a little bit different standards that they're testing. And next year we'll be able to roll in with 2 that haven't been tested before. We take all this information and our teachers look at readiness standards that are highly tested and anything that they've already taught before, looking back and saying, oh gosh, that TEK is 40%, we've got to go back, that doesn't spiral back in. We look at ways to bring that back to our kids again so that we can hit those things. And that's where we are with that.
What are personal goals?
So we meet with our students, Brandon and I do, and look at raw scores and where they were last year if they're 4th or 5th graders, and they use those to make, so if they were in approaches and they want to get to meets, they set a goal of like, I got 10 right, now I want to be at 13 right. And so after they take the test, we look back at it and let them know if they made it or not to where they wanted to be. Yeah, it
Is
takes.
that unique to your, does every school do that?
In some form or fashion, everybody does some sort of goal setting. Yeah.
I like that.
Thank you, Macy, for pointing out at the beginning that the first 12 questions are the same, and then everyone's test kind of changes.
Yes.
So not every student, I think that's context for their
So
board.
basically, how they did on those 12, the test will adjust.
It kind of,
It does low, medium,
yes.
and high, and they kind of get different questions each. And some kids actually accidentally skip from the 12 questions and they're like, I'm just trying to look.
Yeah.
So you might have those with the practice things.
Yeah,
But
so
yeah.
I think that's good context, so thank you for sharing that.
Okay, well, my colleagues have done a wonderful job of explaining all this and how it works for you, so I'm gonna click through it real quick. Maybe if I can use it. Okay, so 3rd grade reading. Being our 2nd year with STAR, we've done lots of things to move up from where we were last year and really dug into this data. I'm super proud of our teachers and the work they're putting in to get us where we're at right now. So we are seeing growth in meets and masters. My 3rd grade had some medical challenges last year. We've got a couple medical challenges right now, but we're working past it and getting them to grow where they are. So I'm extremely proud of this 3rd grade group. 4th grade reading, 59 to 56. I really dug into these numbers, honestly, today, because my 4th grade team is so strong and those kids are doing such a good job that looks a little off, but when you break it down into the standards, you really see some growth and really see some solid things. So I'm not worried about that at all. And again, those meets and masters numbers are higher. 5th grade reading, solid, they're doing great. Again, your meets and masters going up. They're doing some great things. Spent a lot of time in there this week. They're having a good time, and I'm really proud of them. Math, really overall, I feel like even in there, math is an area we've really poured into this year. We really wanted to improve from where we were last year, and we have. 14% to 73% for that 3rd grade math is extremely great. Like, I am so proud of them. I met with them this week and can't brag on them enough. They're doing a great job. It's a huge growth already. 4th grade math, same thing. That has a brand new teacher in there who is rocking it. So it is, that is some great growth, 27 to 64, and again, those meets and masters numbers continue to go up. So I'm proud of 4th grade as well. 5th grade math, 48 to 70%. Again, that meets number is exciting. I think looking at this, I could dig into the data and be a data nerd and really get into it, but I think just looking at this really makes you excited and proud of what's going on in the buildings across the district. 5th grade science, again, to mimic what Macy and Tricia both said, science doesn't really spiral. A lot of those meaty units are after Christmas, so we'll get there. Their aligned assessments look great. The data looks good, so I'm not worried about that. It'll come. So we're excited to
see where we go from here. Questions? Anything? I think all three campuses had amazing masters. Wow, that's awesome. That's great. Yeah.
No. Next year. There. Remind me to follow up that conversation.
All right, so we do not have interims yet. Those will be, we actually take those next week. So we're excited to get that information also. But in the meantime, this is what we've been presenting all year. The satisfactory expectation that we're looking for is 70%. So what we do if we don't have 70% of the students get 70 or higher, the teacher's doing a reteach. Or for the students who don't fall in that 70%, which they're pulling those, they'll either do a whole class reteach or they'll pull the students who didn't get 70% for a reteach. So the ones in red are from, I've already talked about the ones in blue. So my science team, as Macy said, they did change science standards and our teachers were digesting that last year, but I have one science teacher from last year, and so it's a pretty new team, and they are really using this as an opportunity to dive in and get to know what's expected of the students, like to what depth do the students need to know the standards. And they're going to all the trainings, they're just really impressing me with their efforts. The 55% Unit 3 was over Newton's Law, and the students had to develop equations that were supported by data, just a different kind of science thinking, and incorporating that math. So after a reteach, they were at 88%. 88% of the students who needed a reteach, and in this case, it was the entire class, got a 70 or higher. So if you see it below 70, it was the whole class. If it's above 70, it was just the specific students. The next one was Unit 4 was transverse waves and electromagnetic spectrums. So that is not my natural language, and I think the students were struggling with it a little bit more than, well, not expected. They did expect it because it's about relationships and how those change, and so they can get the initial concept, but it's then the inner workings of the changes that happen in the relationships between the two. After a reteach, 78% got 70 or higher. And then the last one was a high interest topic anyway. It was over space and the life cycle of stars. So they were interested in that. And interestingly, I do look at the data in comparison to the STAR test. That's not the measurement stick we're using for these, but 77% of our students actually got meets. So that was the meets expectation on the STAR test is definitely higher. So, sixth grade math. So again, the red is the recent information. Integer operations, some of the areas that they struggled with were vocabulary, and they needed manipulatives on their reteaches. When we talked about that in PLCs, it was very much the foundation that needed to be refreshed, and so with manipulatives and reviewing vocabulary again, they were able to bring that up to 70%. 79% of the students got a 70 or higher. And then the second one was over, the one at 50%, was over expressions, and that's something that trickles into a lot of math concepts. Historically, it's been one that sixth graders struggle with. It's an area that they've been taught a lot of math concepts independently, and now it's the inner workings of those together. They're combining those for the first time in sixth grade a lot, and this is one that's a big one. So they moved it up in our scope and sequence because it is one that they have historically struggled with, and that was just this year that they moved it up. So after the retest, we got to 68%. They're continuing to spiral that because it is so important, and they knew it would be low when they moved it up. So they're going to continue building that one. grade. She's doing great. This is a new teacher this year. She has all of our regular 7th grade classes, so this doesn't include any advanced. This is with reteaches, so she has figured out how to. If you can get to the meat immediately of what a student is not understanding and reteach right away, it has such a big impact, and she has figured out the art of doing that. So her students are doing really well. There's really not anything else to discuss about Miss Travis other than she's killing it. And then 8th grade math. This is our 7th grade pre-algebra and our 8th grade student, our 8th grade math are taking the same tests. So you're seeing that reflected here. Because linear relationships is a tough concept, they drug it, it's in 2 of these. I don't know why this says linear, the first word, but the first 2 under the red are linear relationships, part 1 and part 2. And so part 1, knowing that it was going to be challenging, they built on it and then incorporated the concepts from the 43% that they struggled with in the second test, and we see that reflected, that success after continued reteach. And this was over about a 5-week period of time, so pleased with that. And then the last one is angle relationships. So it's setting that foundation for geometry. Actually not on the STAR test, but an important skill that they need to know, and we're not skipping over it just because it's not on there. Okay, so then 8th grade algebra. This is our highest group of students. They performed really well. We have 100% pass last year. They are also dealing with, or were working with more challenging concepts. It's the single words up here. It's linear functions for the first 2, and then linear relationships, which are all under that linear equations concept. So all of that is building, and they did the same thing. They spiraled the concepts that students were struggling with into their next tests, and we see a gradual increase in their success. And they'll continue, because that one is splattered all over math all year. They will continue working with those concepts too. That is it for me. Do you have any questions? Okay.
Thank you.
I'm gonna skip biology and go to linear functions for math, just so you can kind of see the progression. Linear functions is harder. And when we were talking about slope, intercept, form, y, x, all of that good stuff, you remember that from algebra. And so when we're looking at the satisfactory component of it, we're talking about the meets component. So our students potentially, this is without reteach. As we've gone through, because it builds, math builds. And so I'm gonna kind of read what we wrote down. So moving from introduction to linear functions, units 3 and 4, to more complex domain of systems of linear functions, unit 5, by strategically layering skills, unit 3 and 4, establishing a robust foundation essential for mastering the advanced teaching unit 5. This progression required students to demonstrate increasingly sophisticated critical thinking skills, teacher data-driven instructional method, including spiral review reinforcements of foundational skills, because each time that they taught a unit, it was building. So for the last 3 units that they've taught, currently we're in the linear functionality of it, and it just gets bigger. And it's a big deal on EOC that students are tested with. So all assessments are composed entirely of the Bluebonnet and previous STAR questions from Unit 3 to Unit 5 assessment. The average has moved from the approaches grade level to meets grade level, performance level established in the 2025 Algebra 1 EOC. This upward trend indicates that our targeted instructional strategies and driving measurable student success is going on in the classroom. So what we have seen is students are getting the functionality. And I wanted to show that because you've seen kind of the trend from middle school to get to the high school. It gets a little bit more difficult, but it is more complicated. And students on the EOC have to be able to demonstrate there's no longer multiple choice. And so we are making our tests a little bit more complicated. And the reteach are showing some improvement, but as they go from unit to unit, we're seeing drastic improvement for students being able to score in the meets component of it. So just FYI, and I go to biology. Biology, Our students have shown impressive growth on recent biology unit tests with increased rigor and assessment designed to mirror EOC-style questions and open-ended responses. Learners are demonstrating stronger content mastery, critical thinking, and scientific reasoning. Many students improved their scores compared to prior units, successfully applying vocabulary, interpreting data, constructing evidence-based explanation. This progress reflects effective instruction, purposeful practice with assessment-style items. The students' perseverance, a promise sign that they're prepared for higher stakes evaluation and deeper inquiry in life science. And so, once again, we're talking the satisfactory component. So I figured you might ask a question, so I kind of wrote down something real quickly. When you're looking at the meets, so essentially 70% satisfactory is what we're looking at. Our students currently are in the 37 point, they're getting 37 questions correct out of 53. If you're trying to make the math make sense for you. So you're seeing within biology that our students are on pace to do well on our EOC, but we want to kill it. So we're still working towards that, just FYI. Question? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Superintendent's report.
Okay, I got a couple items that kind of lead into item number 9. Normally do a construction update, but I've got several projects, but we are tying into a construction high school architect proposal. When we do talk about ADA, currently we're at 2591 as of today. You may have your report came out last week. We may have a couple more kids enroll. But remember, our target goal is around 2,600, so we're kind of approaching that. We had that beginning of the year blip. We may have a couple more kids, or beginning of semester blip. I would expect next week to kind of hit a little more and then kind of plateau out. As we look at, you still get your monthly calendar invites. I know we're trying to put the board schedule out there a little more to be involved, and I know some of you have kind of spread out your availability, and appreciate seeing you guys at the events and taking on your presence there has been noted, and the kids like enjoy seeing you, and the community likes seeing you out there as well. So that's out there, and we'll continue to come around via email so we can get on that calendar. Events coming up on a regular schedule. Speaking of that, we have a called meeting tomorrow. If you guys will look at your calendars tonight and tomorrow, my goal is just to kind of collaborate and discuss with you for our campus visits in February and April. So pick a couple dates, we can kind of nail that down and be able to put that on the calendar for our campus visits for this semester. Regarding construction updates, besides the high school project we're going to discuss, the middle school is still on schedule. The CTE building is not, I don't want to say delayed, it's just taking a little bit longer because there's no dynamic situation that delayed it. It's just a matter of finishing the project. We were shooting for the first week of February, but we're looking towards the end of February now. You know, we're talking with the teachers that will use that area. You know, it does stink that it's delayed, but we're getting into the show season anyway to where they're going to be off campus majority of the time anyway, so there's not a lot of missed opportunity coming into the time where they're going to be at shows for those programs. But everything, if you'd like to schedule time during the day to come visit and walk those buildings with me, pretty awesome programs that we're building, and the facilities are just state of the art and phenomenal for Krum. We are working, Shelly's going to give a presentation, not necessarily on that, but just kind of what she's been doing for her position. But she is also working with middle school and myself and some high school students to start promoting some of these projects. We're going to do some marketing and touring with the kids and put some piece together so we can have some more community communication about these projects. So that will be coming, publicized coming out in the next couple of weeks as well.
And do that on the middle school project as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So we'll be having, you know, we're going to show, we have a group of kids at a time frame where the kids are going to walk the building, get their reactions and those type things.
Yeah.
But kind of tying into that, we do have our directors scheduled throughout the year to give various presentations. Shelly hit the ground running, so I did ask her to kind of put together a 10,000-foot view of where she's at and kind of things that are on her radar. I was going to turn it over to you.
I have visuals, so give me 1 second.
I guess I'll see what I'm doing here.
picture next to that water main at the middle school?
Probably. Put my name on it.
Yeah.
Get like a water feature out there.
I would say no pressure, but that has a whole lot of double entendres.
There was no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure, literally.
So, thank you guys so much for the opportunity to visit with you tonight. I did prepare just a really broad overview. I don't know that it's, I don't know, just 20,000, 30,000, somewhere in that range view, and then also a look forward at what's to come next. So, when I first started with the district in August, I did really a quick overview of survey of what we have to work with, the tools and the platforms that were in place for communication and marketing, and discovered there are 3 really important areas that I needed to focus on the first semester. So the first one of those is our most important communications tool, and that was Parent Square. It is a huge platform. It has a ton of capability, and we were really just kind of skimming the surface with that. So there was a lot of housekeeping done behind the scenes to really keep it moving smoothly. And in doing that, we uncovered some features that we were able to add to and beef up our functionality with Parent Square. And so really pleased to have those things in place and those tools to work with now. And next steps with Parent Square is going to be all about empowering, training and empowering staff and making sure they have access to some of those tools so that there's a little more efficiency or whatever it is they might need in their communication efforts with parents. So the second area that really needed a lot of focus was social media. One of the things I've learned about Krum is we are an incredibly social community. And if I were to ask you how many social media accounts do you think that the district has, I would guess that you'd guess a little low. We actually have 67 social media accounts that the district manages. And that just kind of blew my mind. So my first goal was really to catalog all of the accounts and make sure that I had my arms around what it was that I was responsible for and that we were adequately archiving all the records as we're required to do. That is a continuing process. I think when I get it all together, we're really probably looking at around 70, 72 accounts that are out there. Not all of them are active, but they are all out there. So the second goal with social media was really to strategically strengthen our platforms. And by strengthen, I mean to build our following and also to drive positive sentiment on those platforms. I think we've been successful. I brought some data to share with you, if the clicker works.
Is it typical for a school district to have 72 different platforms or accounts or?
For our size district, that kind of surprised me, but I don't have a benchmark for that.
So that would be like middle school band, middle school volleyball. Excuse me, is that what we're kind of talking about?
Yes, sir, and clubs and organizations and those kinds of things. But
just out of curiosity, like what steps does anyone have to take to create a Krum ISD social media account? Like to make it 73 accounts, could we go Krum ISD board?
So we do have a process in place.
Okay.
There's a policy
Okay.
that everybody's supposed to follow, and they come through me, and we set up the account.
That's the next
and
thing
it-
we're
it-
evaluating is compliance.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how to rein
Okay.
that back in. So
Okay.
that's
So, but are there some rogue accounts out there?
Sure.
Possible.
Sure.
Yes.
6 or
So would
7.
someone have to clear the post with you before they post it, or do they have full administrative ability?
They have full administrative ability, but I am also an administrator on those accounts. So,
But there's no approval process through you for those
not for
guys?
their posting, no. They operate independently, yes.
But I think the people posting
Yes,
on that
67 's a lot.
might be some
Yeah.
sort of
Training,
right?
I'm
Like,
sure, I'm
it's
sure.
not 10 different people in the volleyball program posting on Facebook. It's probably one point person.
Correct.
Those are things we are consistently working through because
Yeah.
with 72 platforms or 67 platforms, and then you also have personnel people that sometimes we have to redirect that go, no, don't let the kid post.
Right.
So
right.
to say it's 100% effective, those are areas where we have found
Yeah.
that we need to manage and build processes to continue to improve them. That's some of the areas
That's
where
why,
we
yeah.
have found,
You heard me say it's an ongoing.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's kind of an
Yeah.
everyday
Yeah.
thing, checking
I think
in
we've
and keeping an
uncovered-
eye on
You're
it.
doing a great job.
We've
I don't
uncovered,
think you-
we've
you're-
Thank you.
we've
I appreciate that.
uncovered some more work to be done.
Yeah.
always
Jobs
more work to be
security.
done. But I am pleased with where we are. Effort was really focused on the district Facebook page, and that's the one that I administer. And so you can see, I don't have a pointer, I don't think this points, but the graph in the top right shows our total followers since August when I took over the account. So we had steady growth. That was with intentional effort, and we've vested 5,000 followers on our district Facebook page.
Is that on the far left-hand side? It's hard to see back here, sorry.
August.
Do I have a
August
pointer?
is the,
August,
August
this year,
is
that's
over
just this
here.
semester.
Yes.
Wow.
And then this goes to December.
and then what's the total right number? Like, what does it go up to?
5,000.
5,103.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
All right.
Oh, I do have a pointer. Oh, that's so fun. Okay, thank you. So,
Oh, I see.
so I'm pleased with where we are there. I think it's position, it shows the strength of the page. Also, I'm pleased to report that sentiment is positive. So that's all about making sure that, well, it's just a measure of how much people like us. And they like what they're seeing on social media. So another number that really kind of blew my mind was on our district Facebook page, we had over 700,000 views of the content that was posted last semester. So that to me is an impressive number. I was pleased with that. But the number that I really want to look at when I'm looking at social media is engagement. Are people interested in what we're posting? And the answer to that is yes. Engagement was up 7% over spring of 2025 last semester. So all of that to say, I feel like we're moving in the right direction. Is there something you want me to read to you, or?
I'm just
tell you?
looking at your breakdown here, so these
Sure.
are the locations of everybody that's either engaging or looking at the page.
Correct.
Cody probably 8,000.
And the cities is
Bangladesh, all right.
interesting, yeah.
Do we employ any use of AI, chatbots, any of that stuff to help you manage?
Not
a
at this
negative
time.
comment? So how like,
Not at this
are
time.
you like just looking for those? Because I've noticed.
By and
either
large,
you
I
or
get
someone
notifications.
That's very quick at responding and making that.
Yeah, thank you. So I do get notifications when things pop up, but I'm human and I miss things. And
Sure,
so
sure.
there are tools out there. They're with 72 accounts. They're kind of pricey to put all of those accounts on there, but we are looking at those options.
And Shirley, I just want to say, I have noticed some of the administrative responses to a few things on some of our social media, and they are chef's kiss.
Oh, thank you.
I
Thank
mean,
you.
just perfect.
That's
So,
great to hear.
Kudos.
She's actually said that.
Chef's kiss.
It's like,
This next slide, I just
you
kinda
don't
threw
get,
in
not
here for-
everybody gets that answer. That deserved that. It's good. Yep.
This next slide I just kind of threw in here for fun. These are the top posts of all time on the district Facebook page. I only had room for 12, but I thought it might be kind of interesting. I know you can't see them. I'd be happy to run through them with you if you would like, and just say if you're interested. But 9 of those 12 were posted last semester. So
Is the top one, it's a great day to be a Bobcat?
that was the homecoming parade this
Oh,
year.
cool.
Mhm. Homecoming parade, and then let me see if I can do the pointer.
Where's my bottle flip?
Yeah, hold on one second. You are on the list.
Okay.
Oh, I was gonna say 15. That's 15.
This right here, and you can see the number of views was over 40,000 views. This was announcing teacher raises last spring. For some reason, the high school hiring a new science teacher was a really big deal
Wow.
last year. Homecoming halftime this year. Dodd's A rating celebration, Veterans Day celebration, the band going state. For whatever reason, the November board meeting made the list, made the leaderboard. So November's board meeting.
Really
and
proud grandma in there sharing that post. Like,
must have been. And then this one here was back to school haircuts. This was Superintendent's Advisory Council post this year. Krum Middle School's partnership with SNT. And then number 12 was Dr. Cochran's 6 and 7 video.
Oh,
So-
yeah, put that on there.
I did. He is my boss. So, top post of all time. So
That's
things are,
because Nick was in it.
Yeah,
well,
the star was at the end.
Yeah.
things are trending in the right direction, but there's still a lot of work to do. As you guys have pointed out, we do have some weak places in the system there. But one of the things that I look to do in the near future is to create a team of social media ambassadors to help keep an eye on things and to help answer or redirect or squish some of the negative that will, the venting, not just on our own platforms, but out in the wild. So it's going to take a special group of people and some training to make that happen, but I think that that will serve the district well. So last but not least, the third area of focus was, you guys all know it, it's the website. And it really is meant to be our #1 marketing tool. However, I don't know that that has been the case. My focus this last semester has really been on improving the user experience of the website. And so there are several things that we've put in place and several things that are still in the works. You may have noticed the translation button. That was a quick add to the website so users can translate content to their preferred language. We currently have an AI chatbot that is still learning in the background. It needs a little attention from me before we can launch that. That's probably by the end of the month. It's powered by Gemini. And so it's going to be a powerful tool to help people find information on the website without having to hunt and peck through the current structure. And then the last one that I really wanted to just point out is the mapping, the last one here on the bottom. And what that really means is charting out, drawing the structure of what the website content, how it should be laid out. So we have kind of a master plan. And that is largely done, and pages will start moving around and things will get reorganized so that it's a little bit more, much more user-friendly. So some other work that's going on online that's not real visible, and that includes things like claiming our campus locations and facilities on Google Maps and other platforms like that, and then building profiles for each of those instances. It's really just about owning who we are online, also doing the same kind of thing on review and ranking websites such as Niche and Great Schools. We really want to have some control over the narrative on those really high traffic websites, and by claiming our locations there, that gives us a little bit of control. So looking ahead, there's some things that need to happen. One is marketing and communication strategy and really building that out for the future. One of the key parts of that is going to be some branding work and developing branding guidelines. That's much more than, it can be much more than logos, fonts, and colors. We'll see where that takes us. We're going to get that started here really soon. So I'm excited about that. And then the brand work will then inform collateral and several of the other things that need to be produced going forward. So lots of things in the pipeline for the next year-ish. That ought to keep me busy. So does anybody have any questions?
Shirley, in my world, there was some legislation that came out, and there's like an April 24th date that's specific to our world about accessibility.
Yes.
And like reviewing all of our classroom courses or any of our website. Is that something that is something you're kind of monitoring?
Yes,
too?
based on our size, we have another year. We go
Okay.
to 27,
Okay.
and so the website should be largely reorganized and kind of revamped by that, but that is on my radar. Thank you for asking that. Yes.
Is that like ADA accommodations?
It's, making it all the information accessible. Yeah. If there's no questions, I do have one last thing to share with you, and this was very unexpected, not something that was really kind of in the immediate plans, but it was an opportunity that came up, and we decided to kind of limited opportunity for advertising in Krum, and this became available, and so we kind of jumped on it. In the next couple of weeks, if you happen to be driving up, it's 156, right? 156, and you look up, you might see our new billboard.
Oh, he got it on
So,
the
yeah.
Well done.
So super excited about that. We have secured that location for a year. So when the branding guidelines and strategy kind of come into place, we'll move from kind of an awareness campaign about building affinity with our audience and the community to more strategic messaging and that kind of thing.
Did we get both sides? We got both sides, one side?
One side.
One side.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Next to the
Right
gun
next to
range.
the gun
Great day,
range.
I'm going in.
Next to the gun range. What else do you need?
Have you trademarked this yet? You own this? No. Okay.
It's like the other side's turnaround.
I like
That's
that
awesome.
Bobcat. That's pretty awesome.
That's
See,
all
there's
I've
a
got.
K imprinted in the back, or he has the Krum.
Oh, I
symbol
see.
back
I see
there.
it now. Yeah.
That looks good.
It's big.
I like that.
The logo's
But
big.
we have multiple times a year, it can be changed within the contract, so we're, like I said, and she brought up a couple key points, you know, this is in advertising, we wanna always think about the why we're doing something, but this is an advertising, our challenge is how do we quantify this? But it's a starting point. There's not a lot of places to market yourself in our community. And as that people are moving and coming in town, trying to have that the first line of sight. If for this year, we get a sizable amount donation from the solar company to do enhancement type things, we pulled the funding out of that. This would be something that we would look back to the board. Do we want to budget for it in the future? It's about $7,500 on an annual basis.
Great deal.
But that includes quarterly changes, maybe?
As many as we want.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a cost with the change, but it's very reasonable, so.
Kind of, it's fun. It's neat to come and see yourself, so.
Makes you feel
No,
like
it's not
you're a
digital.
part of something. You're
Yeah.
a Bobcat, you're a part of this community.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like it.
You're part of the tribe, so. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I don't know where we are.
Do we not paint the water towers anymore in town?
Oh, we're painting them, but we're not putting it to the Great A Big Bobcat. We're putting Bobcat Nation on theirs.
Okay, I like that. That's cool.
High school construction and remodel presentation.
So Marcus from Huckabee is going to come up and take us through this presentation. This is an important night for us to collaborate over this. You know, we've had a lot of informative type sessions. Tonight I am asking you all to make a motion based on this presentation, because this is the time where we commit to a plan. You know, we're committing to a timeline. There are still going to be modifications that come across as we troubleshoot these deals. But this is kind of the last time to say, man, shouldn't we put a second story back here in the back of the building? We need to, or move this piece here. We got to commit to a direction so we can commit to a budget and commit to a timeline. Are we approaching a year on this plan, maybe? But this is kind of a culmination. We have had board members participate in the meetings. Staff have been involved in some of the strategic planning of their individual areas, and we'll continue to do that. But I've asked Marcus to do a quick presentation to take us through the vision and the cost and designating a timeline. But I would ask you guys, as you're really diving into this process, realize that we're asking at the end a motion to commit to this, or give us a plan so we can make adjustments to get to that point. We just got very few months left to stick to a timeline.
Great. Well, thank you all for allowing me to come and talk to you about this. It's pretty exciting, and it's pretty easy to work on something when you're excited about it, when you believe in the plan, and that you think that it's something that would make a huge difference in the community. I wanted to just say really quick that it's been just great working with the internal Krum team on this project. It's a huge time commitment, and I look forward to it every week. You know, whenever I come to that meeting, it's my best meeting, I swear. So one of the aspects about this that we wanted to bring this forward to you guys is that when you're working on a big project like this, making changes can be like, you know, basically turning around a cruise ship at times. So we definitely don't want to wait till the end of this process to ask your feedback. We'll probably be coming back a couple more times to get you know, deeper and deeper feedback, and because as time progresses, making those changes becomes a much bigger effort. Just wanted to throw out this slide here just because those are all the individuals that are working on it in terms of our consultant team and all of that. So, you know, any changes that come through is a group effort to get to. This slide discusses the programming of the project. So before we put any pen to paper, before we created any designs, we wanted to understand what it is we're actually constructing toward or designing toward. So you can kind of see in that first column there the existing spaces that you all have right now within the high school space, and it's over 141,000 square feet. That's a pretty sizable building. And the next piece, or the next component of this, was to say, all right, what are we aiming for? What's the main goal? And the main goal is to be able to create a facility for growth, for the future, for a growing district. And so what's the right number within doing that? I know that a lot of the time it's a little bit like looking at a crystal ball. There is definitely some data that can be used to formulate that decision, but of course, we all know that growth doesn't always happen the way that we anticipate. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. So 1,800 students is a number that was chosen within those parameters. And you can see in some of these columns here what the new construction would take in order to do that. So what it looks like is 143,000 additional square feet. So you would be looking at doubling the size of the high school. Beyond that, there would be additional field house space that would be needed for some of the sports and athletics areas as well that come up to about 14,000 square feet. So that's a fairly large building. I don't know why this isn't coming up properly. No, it's not that. It's
There you go.
there we go. Yeah, maybe I can just do it that way. All right. Let me try it again. Okay, awesome. All right, so this is the site plan. Number one, this area is the existing building, and you have other existing facilities that are around it. When we started this process, the idea was to actually do the new addition off of the back area and not in the front. In some ways, that's probably more cost effective because a lot of the main utility runs are coming through the front. Also, there would be a lot of revamp of parking if we were to do it in the front side of the building. However, that would mean relying upon the existing building that many of us have spent quite a bit of time in, a pre-manufactured structure, making modifications to that to be able to work within an 1,800 student space. And you're asking a lot if you were to go that direction. So as the team started to think about that, it just felt best to actually put the building on the front for several reasons. One of the reasons is you could do the circulation right for the 1,800 student facility. That means bigger, wider hallways, and you could maybe do some sort of a centerpiece in the middle that stands out that you'll see in the renderings later. That's something that just stands out as different and calls to order really just the excellence of the facility itself. So we ended up creating several appendages onto the main building. This number 2 area is where the athletics would be. Number 3 is where the majority of the classroom spaces would be, as well as the library and the administrative areas. 4 would be the fine arts, and then 6 down here would be the new field house. So that would be a standalone structure field house that would really help to organize a lot of the locker room spaces and a lot of the sports spaces. In essence, just because it's a little bit easier to see on the site plan, there's an area over here that would be the inside sports, and then this would be all other exterior sports in this facility here that isn't football, and then number 6 would be a dedicated football athletics field house. Beyond that, another area or important piece to call out is the parking. Because we're putting the building on the front end of the area, we need to revamp the parking quite a bit. So parking before was going all the way up here and stretching out and stretching around. By doing it this way, that means that there's a lot less parking here, which means expanding parking into the area 10, revamping the area to the northeast into staff parking, and then creating a much larger parking area in area A, and that would be where the majority of the parking is. As Dr. Cochran mentioned at the last board meeting, that is something that would be done ahead of everything else, so that during construction, as we're looking to use this space for construction, you have spaces up there to be able to park for the students and for the staff. So this is a drawing of the existing facility. You can see quite a bit of the parking that would be then removed, this entire area right here, and then this whole front area would be revamped.
So Marcus, would the utilities be relocated first if they're in conflict with the construction on the front to keep the building in service, or how is that going to work?
Yeah, that's definitely something that will need quite a bit of conversation around, because at one point in one of our recent coordination calls, there was a talk of maybe being down for a couple days with technology. But as we're talking through, we're trying to find ways around it. Is there a way to change design a bit, maybe not hit that deep in that spot to take out technology for a couple days? I think just given the fact of the utilities all being here, it is definitely something we want to do ahead of everything else,
Right.
as much as we can. Yeah.
Or maybe it'll work out where it's in the summer or something. I mean, I don't know when it's going to take place, but yeah.
Yeah, actually, let me see. Well, when we get the schedule, I'll talk a little bit more about this, but to your point, Nick, we're looking to do some things early release. So if we can do early release site, the early release site package, the parking lot. So it's not just about the parking lot, it's about the actual site as well.
Yeah.
And within that, that needs utilities.
Yeah.
So the hope would be that that could run ahead of everything else.
Yeah.
All right. So here's a new floor plan. There's quite a bit going on. I know that it's a little bit hard to tell what's existing and what's new because it's all color coded. You can kind of see it in this thick line. Anywhere where you see this thick line is because we're actually putting a double firewall in that space because you need to separate the existing from the new. And then here's the existing line there, and then the existing line there. This is the existing auditorium space, and then there will be a new addition that starts there.
And then that far building to the right, that's the shelter?
This, yes.
There, okay, gotcha,
Yes.
yeah.
This
Okay,
would
I
double
thought
as
that's
a
what it
shelter.
was, I was trying to remember, yeah.
Yep, absolutely. And then this would be a second floor. So you would have in the center area a much taller portion of the building that has a second floor in it. So, sorry, it's zooming in more, but I'm sure it's still kind of hard to see all the way back there. So I'll try to explain it through. This is the locker room space for the new athletics facility that is attached. The new arena space, which we have a couple of renderings for that we'll show you in a second. This is the existing lobby with the existing concessions, and then we would be expanding upon that with a new bank of restrooms, new concession space, and new lobby. And then you can kind of see over here that there's a canopy you can see with the hidden lines a little bit, with a colonnade there that would run out and really show the presence of that entry. And then this is where the majority of the new classrooms are taking place. This is the classroom addition. As you first walk in, there's a rotunda with a couple of staircases. This is meant to be the showpiece that I spoke about before. And you walk into the library space. The library, as many facilities are doing now, are not some sort of enclosed space that's tucked over to the side somewhere. Usually, especially in colleges, they try to bring it up into the center and make it open with open cafes or whatever else within that. So we're taking from that a bit and doing a concept that is open in terms of the library with bookshelves out as people are walking through. Over on the left-hand side is where the science labs are. We just got finished not that long ago having some really detailed conversations with the science teachers around that, and we'll continue to do that a little bit tomorrow. But these are the science labs. On the right-hand side is where the administrative space is. The administrative space is that kind of reddish color, and within that there's areas for workrooms, offices, group rooms, things of that nature. A little bit above that are some additional classrooms. We need a lot of new classrooms of different types, so wherever we could squeeze in additional ones where they made sense, we went ahead and did that. In the blue area, that is where the current administrative spaces are, and we would be converting that into the art suite or the art area with multiple art rooms of different needs and usages. And then overall, to the right-hand side, this is an area that we've been spending quite a bit of time on. I know it's not showing up in the floor plan yet, but this would be the cafeteria space. So it's a little bit hard to see, but this is where the current band hall and band space is. This is where the current cafeteria is, and this is where the current kitchen is. In order to reach that 1,800 student capacity, all of this needs to become cafeteria space. So this green right here is where students would sit, and then this would be the new kitchen and servery line up there.
The capacity would not be 1,800 at one time, or?
No.
Yes, that's what I mean.
You function multiple lunches.
What's our capacity at one time?
For lunch?
It would be,
Yeah.
No, I was just clarifying the question for you, sorry.
Yes, yes,
I was like,
like,
Johnny, he didn't answer.
like
I
500,
think we said
and so.
3 lunches was our
It
goal.
would be 3, yeah.
Okay.
It would be split into 3 lunches, yes, 3 periods. And then the existing auditorium space, sorry, it's a little bit, it looks a lot better on the screen than up here, but this is the fine arts area. So you would have band halls, orchestra rooms, practice rooms, many of them, supporting room storage and restrooms in this area. And as Nick alluded to earlier, this would be the storm shelter. So in order to do that, every space in here needs to be constructed of a certain type to be be able to measure up to storms and things of that nature.
On the outside of the cafeteria, you got 2 classrooms. What's the thought of?
That's the old serving lines, and that's just using it as academic space now. So we talked, that's some of the internal things we're still designating, like we're discussing how to make a black box out of a certain area. That's a theater fine arts type class. So we're still in discussion on where to land with some of that. I think there were some ceiling height problems that we were working with that area for the black box piece. But it's gonna be part of fine arts instruction over there.
And I think it's worth mentioning too, that at 1,800 students, it'll take some time to get there. So some of these spaces will come online as things go on. You don't need all of the classrooms day one, but over time you would as the facility starts to fill up. Sorry, this is crashing out.
Where did the administrative offices move to?
They're in the first floor of that V.
As you enter.
So, can you remind me again, when was the anticipated start date for?
He has a timeline he'll go over, talk about early release and some other things, but I believe we're looking at, end of the summer, first of, I'm gonna misspeak, but I believe it's August, September of this upcoming year, and a completion, June or July of 28, but it's on the last page of his presentation.
And based on the expansion, when do we think we'll reach functional capacity of that?
We did a study a couple years ago, and when we did that evaluation, initially, I'm shooting from the hip here to get exact, but I remember it was, I would say we were looking at like 2032-ish, but I will tell you, giving our current status, we need to look at running those studies every 24 to 36 months. There is a cost tied to that, but that'll help us continue to modify our plan. You know, the previous study didn't show the dip we're in right now, but it also didn't show the previous peak we were gonna hit. So, but give or take a couple years, it's gonna be that early.
And I would assume that previous study probably was before a lot of that land was sold to developers too, as well, right? They didn't have budgeted that.
I think it built a lot of that in.
Yeah, a lot of that was
I think
in
a lot of
there.
that was coordinated with the developers and so forth.
Was it?
Yeah, they had a lot.
Because at that point, we had 16 of the communities platted.
Yeah.
But I do think we went from 16,000 houses to 25,000 in the last study.
Okay.
But to the point, the most recent time we did it was when we redid bus zoning. We'll continue to still have to do that because they also take care of providing transportation routes and student capacity at buildings. So we'll do our district rezoning several times over the next so many years as we approach this.
Yeah, the reason I ask is I was that first class in what's now the Sanger Middle School. So that was 2003, so that lasted them 20 years or so before they had to get out of it, so just curious.
Well, I mean, yes, like Ponder, they're fixing to run another bond to add on to the one they just moved into.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
While he's pulling that up, I just want to say welcome back to Phyllis Grissom, who was a key part. If y'all don't know her, Matt, I don't think you know her. Some of you may not know her. She was a key player in supporting our bond committee, helping us get communication out, and so she is here because she is fully invested in this project and seeing it come to fruition and celebrating this and celebrating the outcome. So just thanks for being here. And it's exciting. Yeah, it is exciting, and thank you so much.
It seems like yesterday.
I know. She just played a.
It'll be 5 years ago in May.
Yeah.
I think my first day at Krum was your first day at Krum.
Probably.
So we're having a little anniversary celebration.
Yeah. Just wanted to acknowledge, you and the work that you played and appreciate. You were a part of this, and so thank you so much.
She works with Huckabee.
Gotcha. Thank you. In case you didn't fill that in.
Oh, sorry.
I saw you looking for dots.
I'm sorry.
Was it designed?
I'll skip it and I won't go in the slideshow.
18. So we're currently around 800 students currently in high school. Yeah.
We got.
So
we
more
got
than
time.
double.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we're under 50% of that. Yeah.
That's a big school.
Well, it's not.
That's awesome.
I keep saying we need more room at the football stadium, but you know, no one's listening to me.
I will say that
Yeah, I'm just want to put on the
We
record.
could just do that. That way it is the PDFs too.
I'm a
Or you could
little
just scroll up
concerned
and
with the parking
that's not.
and just, we can't do it, like, not changing it, but where it is. And
It's okay.
entering the building, so students will have to, I mean, they're gonna want to shortcut that, and the propping open of doors and all those things, so, you know, like morning duty stations and all those things, I know they'll all get taken care of, but I'm like, oh, those kids are gonna be like, you're tardy, I'm pulling in the parking lot. You know. I would be the tardy one, or the one also saying, get in here, come on.
They'll learn to manage it. You know, the dynamic, that's the complexity, and that's what we'll have to market it to the community a little bit more. I mean, the distance for perspective, and I looked at it, it's no further than the parking that was in Decatur.
Right, no, and that's
when
what,
they go back
yes.
where we worked, and
Yes,
it
yes.
just, we're not used to a bigger school.
Right, and I recognize
Yeah.
that, and so, like, I'm not saying change the parking, or that's too far, or anything like that, I'm like,
It just takes.
safety and security of monitoring those entry points is.
And we change, yes, I agree with you, I need to always overtalk, yes.
But no, they can walk, that's not far,
But we change management every year of how we drop off and pick up.
yeah.
Every
yeah.
year
I'm
we
not concerned
reinvent that
about
wheel.
Yeah,
Come
I'm not
on,
concerned.
Marcos, keep
Oh,
going.
no,
I'm not
it's all
concerned
good.
about that. Yeah.
All good. Okay, don't worry, I'm almost done. Hopefully it doesn't crash out anymore. So, yeah, this would be the field house layout, and as I said before, it's dedicated to football. There would be varsity locker rooms, JV football rooms, equipment rooms, training rooms, all of the components that would be needed from the football standpoint.
I'm sorry, is that the field house or to the left of the basketball?
Yeah, it's the field house area.
Okay, gotcha.
Is
Yeah,
there any room
the stand
there
up.
for like track and how does that work?
That's the old one. The old
Okay.
one is all
Okay.
other outside
Okay,
sports.
gotcha. Okay.
So you can see this exterior shot. What we're aiming to do, I know that I have a couple of that are a little bit easier to see, but I wanted to stick on this image for a moment just because it shows the existing auditorium space. So the idea there is to really mimic that and make that flow on through. You know, I know that there's a very strong aesthetic with the blue roofs, but I also feel like with all the new additions that are coming on and the sizes of them, it's really going to eclipse it, and you won't really be able to see any of that anymore from the road. So that's our focus on that. So you have that really large element there in the center. There would be a colonnade within this area, and then you'll see that there will be a rotunda in the center as you first walk in from our renderings. Here's another view of it as you drive up to it. So that's straight on. And then this is another perspective. So this area over here would be where the athletics are. This is the addition that has the administrative wing, the science labs, the library space, and the second floor classrooms. Lots of classrooms. And then this would be the new arena space. So this one's a little bit more developed than some of the others, just because we know that that's been an important piece of this. So you can see some of the tunnels that are flanking on the left and the right. Not saying that we're committed to any of the items that we're showing you. We're just kind of showing you some of the graphics that could be in that space. This seating here would be the fixed seating area, and then either of these sides of seating that you see there in more of the blue are telescopic. In other words, they can move back and forth to be able to allow for one court to become a couple of practice courts when you're not in game day. This is another image. This is the image of standing in the library and looking back toward the main entry point here. So you can see the rotunda when you first walk in, and you have the two flanking staircases that are coming up in a circular fashion. And there will be a space between high and school before it's done. Sorry, it's those little things that I notice.
You've got good ears.
Casey just said that, by the way.
I said just make sure you get a space.
Yes. Yeah. We have to spell check more often. So this is another area here where you're standing in the library, but then you're looking back toward the existing building. So you can see there's quite a bit of light that will be coming through. So any opportunity that we can, we would be punching light within that space, whether it's existing or new, especially in the classrooms.
Marcus, are the rafters exposed, or is that just for presentation purposes? It looks like that.
Right now, we're showing them exposed, but part of that is we haven't gone through the full spiel on
Okay,
ceilings.
that's fine, I just wondered.
Yeah. All right. The next thing is cost. Let me maximize a little bit here. Oh, wow, look at that.
We need the translate button. Right now. I need that.
Make it smaller, maybe the number will go down.
Yeah.
That's free.
Maybe just re-download it
I can't.
from there.
It does look like free. Yeah.
What do y'all think of the rendering so far?
I think it's great.
It looks great.
Basketball gym's awesome, the classroom.
Cody?
It's all great.
Love it.
That steak kicking in?
Yeah. 5 o'clock was over this morning.
Yeah, and then I'll just go down to that slide. That way.
Should have wore that jacket, it's like a pillow.
I know it's my business.
My dog's business.
I love all the light, like you were drawing
Yeah,
attention
dude.
to.
That is pretty cool.
There it is. Awesome. Thank goodness. Okay, so I'm kind of afraid to. But
Yeah.
I'm a little bit afraid.
I trust you.
Hey, you just tell us.
I'm gonna trust Matt, who's really close.
All right, there we go. Okay, so this column right here is showing the square footage of each of the areas. We defined it as simple as we possibly could. It's in the couple columns. One is the new addition area, so the arena, academic, admin, fine arts, everything that we're adding onto the building. The next one is we're going to need to renovate quite a bit of the existing building as well. Probably before the end of it, about 70% of the existing buildings will be touched in some sort of a way, more or less, depending on budget and everything else. Then there's exterior site and parking, and then as well as some alternate refresh areas. So given budget, budget could come in sometimes a little bit higher than you anticipate, unfortunately. We do try to put some alternates in there of if we have the available funding, can we continue carpet, paint, things of that nature. One of the things that people notice a lot when you come into a facility like this that has a whole bunch of additions to it is, oh, this is where the new is, this is where the old is. So if we can just do that with paint and with carpet, it really definitely helps out with signage and make sure that those types of things stay consistent, then all of a sudden it looks like more of the building was touched than it actually was. These columns here, they have quite a bit of difference in numbers. At least when I look at any project, I don't want to just look at the construction cost, but any cost, even cost that maybe we don't see or we don't manage on our end. But if the district is managing it and it comes out of their funds, then we need to make sure that we're anticipating that. So cost of the work, this column is the actual construction. So that would be for constructing the building itself, for putting up walls, for doing a lot of the work to the foundations and things of that nature. But the column all the way on the far right includes any and all soft costs. So that would be furniture, that would be contingencies, it would be the soft costs of going through permitting, as well as our design costs and engineering costs. All in that.
What are you factoring in for inflation right now?
I believe we're anticipating 7.
So it's less than 1% a month. We're back down to that side. There used to be a lot less than that, but that's
7% for the total project?
Does that number, Marcus, I can't see it, I'm sorry, it's late, is it 112 or 118 million?
It's 113.
113, okay.
But without the alternate, it's 113 million to 94.
And then we had 115, 112, what do we have?
I'd have to get the exact numbers because it's larger than that. We've drawn down, I think then we draw $92 million, something to that effect, but then we have one more draw we can do next summer. And we had 20 million existing from a previous drawdown.
So it'll give us plenty for that.
Plenty's a stretch, but it will have enough because we were looking to have some left over in addition to that to finish the middle school remodel when we look to transfer some to the DOD function.
Okay.
So, but we will need the next draw to complete the whole process. But this project and the finalization of things for old middle school will wipe out our previous bond, which is what it was planned to do.
Any other questions on cost? I know that's a very important thing. Don't want to rush through that.
Does that include, y'all, Huckabee's cost, I guess, to oversee the project during construction? All that's included in there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, some of these items, you know, we need to take an educated guess based on our archives of various data. For instance, not knowing what the GC's final, you know, numbers would be on their end for overhead and profit and
The
all of
actual
that.
bid, yeah.
So you need to
So
make
what,
some assumptions.
what we, you know, they're using developmental predictions for it. Our next phase, after approval tonight, when we hit the gas on some things, is we will have meetings on what deliverable method we want to choose. Construction agent, construction manager, those type things. And then we'll talk about, the deliverable entity, you know, what contractor we want to go with, and do we want to entertain RFQs or those type things. So, that will probably, and Marcus and I have already been in those discussions. I have several different meetings with different firms to discuss what their plans and proposals for this project would be. But then that, once we publish a RFQ, then the public gets to submit bids, and might have multiple companies come forward and request qualifications for the project. They don't get to formally bid it out until you select them, based on legislative guidance for different things. But they will give us the final numbers. He's just giving predictions on it.
Is there a VE component to any of that when it goes out to bid?
In value engineering pieces, we can do that all throughout the whole process. And we can submit value engineering proposals, or we may ask them when they may come back with some different plans. But then we also have, I'm using the wrong word, but there are pieces of the project that he's proposing, you know, here's the $10 million one, but then here's other options. We can go down and have we can get this size, but maybe this type of delivery, alteration, add-alls is what I'm talking about. You know, we may decrease or increase, product quality or service from what we're getting. It's something for a budgeting now. But we don't VE on the front end.
Right. Right. Yep.
Yeah, so to kind of jump on that a little bit too, you know, there's probably no process that is more difficult than making sure that a project comes in on budget, just because there's just so many forces out there that are either working against you or are external forces. So to that point, you know, what at least I and the team that I'm working with try to do is all along the way, we try to create levers to pull. You know, is there something here? Is there something there? You know, like one of the conversations I was having the other day was about kitchen equipment. You know, if we're not going to be at 1,800 day one, you know, could you phase in kitchen equipment? Maybe buy the first piece of it, get it up and running, and then add to it as you go on.
Yeah.
Another piece is furniture. You know, how much can be reused?
Yeah.
You know, and is it that furniture for the future is built? As I said, that not all classrooms are going to need to be used day one.
Yeah.
So it's those types of conversations. I would definitely steer away from and only use as a red lever, you know, substantial changes to the project. Usually there's a lot of low-hanging fruit. Some of our conversations have been, now that a lot of the mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, plumbing engineers are up and running, is to say, okay, let's just pretend for right now that we're, you know, 5 million short or 3 million short in our design. What would you do? You know, what are the levers to pull there? So that's just within us. And then when the GC gets on board, they're going to have a set of items that they would look at too, beyond us.
Okay.
So there's a couple of layers within that.
Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you.
Well, the last one is schedule. Now, I will say, to Dr. Cochran's earlier point, this is showing the schedule of the main building, but it's not necessarily showing some of the early release, just because with us, we're putting, we're putting dates to that, but it would of course need to be a negotiation of what we're allowed to do as early releases and all of that. But this would be the schedule for the main portion of the building, where we are here today. It's not 1/8, but Where we are is at the completion of schematic design. And part of the reason is making sure that we're on task to be able to continue on with the design development portion of the project. After that, we'll go into construction documents. So I would say that the difference between these three is schematic design. You're trying to form an understanding of what it is that you're looking to put in the actual building. What are all the complications of that? Within design development, you're developing all the problems that could arise, all the issues. You're working through, coordination problems and things of that nature and making sure that everything's lining up. By the time you get to construction docs, it's more about making it a buildable set, and that takes a little bit more of a time. After that, we'll get into jurisdictional review and bidding, which is this piece, where we would be getting full on-market pricing within a general contractor of your choosing. And then after that is when we would begin construction.
That's good, Marcus, thank you.
So, my request from you guys is to, I would love a public action that says we're on the same page for this. Because as we start moving forward, it becomes more public and in people's faces, and that's when you guys are gonna get, well, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? And I just wanna have a unified push as we're really starting to pencil whip this timeline and plan. Is there anything, I know we can always look back, but is there anything glaring that anybody has a question about right now? I would recommend that you make a motion to approve the admin moving forward in the process with the design and timeline as presented.
I move to approve Krum ISD admin to proceed with the design timeline as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
I appreciate the work and the work you're gonna do.
Great, thank you guys.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
I don't know where to put it. Thank you.
Yay. I feel like that's a big thing. Yeah, that's great.
Big compliment.
That is big.
It's a big school.
It's gonna be nice, very nice. Order the May 2nd, 2026 School Board Trustee Election.
I move to order the May 2nd, 2026 School Board Trustee election as recommended by the superintendent.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Discuss.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Nope, discuss and take possible action regarding Senate Bill 11.
Senate Bill 11 is from the 89th legislative session, and it is basically requires school boards to take action by March 1st in regards to designating a time beyond the instructional already allotted time for Bible and religious text studies or prayer time. Boards must either take action to add this to the school day or take action to vote no on Senate Bill 11. There is a resolution in your document that I want to respect the religious aspects of our students and our community that has a strong religious backbone, but I would recommend that we vote no on Senate Bill 11.
I move to approve the resolution related to Senate Bill 11 as recommended by the superintendent.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Approve the resolution for the school board trustee election process from at-large to seat or place. Is there anything we need to explain here?
Y'all did all the public and vote to establish the new direction. We just have to formally put it into policy with the language, and this resolution will be added to policy.
Carter, you go.
Oh, I move to approve the resolution of the school board trustee election process from at-large to a seat or a place.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed?
I'll abstain. Can I abstain?
I
You
approve.
can, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Aye. Okay. Motion passes. Consent agenda. Anything on the consent agenda that anyone has questions about?
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you. motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Items for future agendas. Does anyone have an item that they would like to see on a future agenda?
Do we have another KYCC meeting scheduled or not yet?
We do not.
We do not.
We do
Casey's
not.
like, I do not want one scheduled.
Nick, is that something you want to put?
Any
in?
future agenda items for
On there.
Casey and her club?
Future.
What do you got, Matt?
I agree with that. I would like to know the proper way to handle, I feel it would be beneficial to the group to not wait till May to discuss how we want to move forward with the leadership within the board. Is there a way that we can properly have a discussion on our feelings, what we think is the best, who we would like to lead prior to getting to that point?
We can have, a lot of that would be done in a team of 8 training. And last year, I think prior to you getting on, we decided to have we did a meeting afterwards, kind of discuss that planning where we have to officially call a public meeting for the planning, so people would be allowed to sit in that discussion. So it's not a walking quorum. So the short answer is yes. The recommended timeline, I would say, let's see if anybody else signs up for that election. If the board doesn't transition, then yes, you could do it sooner, depending on what the election cycle looks like. You don't want to do a lot of that if you potentially could have multiple new board members. Would be my recommendation. You guys can call it, and we can talk about timelines as long as you want. But the short answer would be, we want to have the practice of having it before June. It's just we may not do it in April.
Did we do it did we pick in June, or did y'all do that in May before I got on?
You were at the team of 8
Oh, I was there.
training.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you were at the meeting.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think they were sitting over here.
Yeah, you were at the meeting where we discussed the planning of the long-term planning of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you,
Great job,
I mean, I
Casey.
think it's.
but are you comfortable with the way we did it last year? If we just, is that what you're asking? Would we do it again?
Timeline-wise?
Yeah. I just don't want to wait till that night to actually get our.
Yes, we did it prior last year. We'll do it prior again. It just depends on the election cycle, whether we do that early in May
Yeah.
or in June.
Yep,
But we'll
yep.
do it prior to the election night meeting.
Good with that.
Okay.
So, future agenda item.
A KYCC meeting. I mean, I think we're gonna have to have a KYCC meeting before May or June of this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are y'all wanting to, we can collaborate. I jokingly say it's on her. Do you just want me to put it after a meeting, or do we want to do a separate night?
After, or you think it'd be too late?
It'll go late.
It'll go late, but let's just have one late night instead of 2.
I'm fine with that. We can do it after.
I mean,
Yeah.
You feed us
So
steak
we
again.
wanna
I mean, I can stay here
I
as
mean,
late as you want.
so,
I'm full
yeah.
for 3 days right
So we're wanting to stay late at the next February meeting.
That's fine with
That'd be
me.
great.
Yeah.
Melinda, if you'll help us remember to post an agenda for the KYCC in addition to that on the February meeting.
What's wrong with that?
nothing. Nothing. I just said, ho, KYCC.
KYSA?
Yes.
What is it? KYCC or KYCC?
Oh, CC.
KYCC.
KYCC.
SACC.
Okay. Good deal.
We're good.
Good deal. Any other future agenda items? There being no further business on the agenda, this meeting is adjourned. There you go.
Good job, Casey.
There you go.
Good job,
Thank you
Case.
all.
Great job.
Oh, you are so sweet. Thank
Yeah.
y'all. All the things. Gracias.
I'm gonna go heat up a steak.
I'm gonna take one of those cupcakes home.
Yeah, absolutely.
Put me to bed. Get you some milk with that.
Rock, paper, scissors on that cookies and cream one.
I don't know if this is agenda deal, but somebody pushed me about fans and act. That's something that we can look into later on.
Didn't know it was a problem. I can.
That they're like old and in the summer it gets hot in there and something about big ass fans or something is what they have in there.